to Senator Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
What is the world coming to? Seems like everyone is running from the truth. We just stand up and fight, walk into the night. We're the people, we can do it if we try. I know we can do it. Somebody asked me, why do we have to go through it? It's just the test of our faith. But we're living day to day. We don't know where, we don't know when. But it's coming back again. Oh, yes, it is. It's late in the evening. Oh, God, it's time for you to return. Oh, Lord, see. I know.
Yes, it is time to make that change. Dr. West and I count it all joy that we are together today on this Easter Sunday, Monday. Yeah, I think we can refer to it as that. Doc, we might as well go and extend this thing out. You and I both coming from the liberation theology. But let me go back to our viewers and our listeners. We count it all joy that you are with us today. We are lifting you up. Dr. West and I have so much to talk about. But Doc, you did not know that I was going to do this today. So I need to center you in this moment. I know that today marks the fourth year anniversary of your mother's passing, the one and only Irene B. West, who broke barriers as Elk Grove's first Black teacher. This is the 4th year of her passing, and I know how you feel about your parents, especially your dear mother. Again, Doc did not know I was going to do this. So, Doc, I want to be able to give you the space to lift up your mother in this moment and whatever else you want to do, what is on your heart, your soul, and your mind on this day.
I appreciate that, my dear sister. I tell you, you're right that the whole world is talking about the death of the Pope. And I'm zeroed in on the death of Mama. And I don't have anything against the Pope, but my mama means more to me than the Pope does. Let me just put it that way. I pray for the soul of the Pope and the family of the Pope. I learned that from my mama and my daddy, Irene B. West. You're right about her teaching principal, the elementary school named after her, Irene B. West Elementary School. But no, as I sit and I see her here every day in my office, I just notice she sets this highest standard. And she defines criteria is what it means to be a human being with integrity, honesty, decency, love shot through one shot. Her, she poured that into me and Cliff and Cynthia and Cheryl and so many others. And so I appreciate you just giving me this time to kind of situate myself. It's always a tough day. You know what I mean? It's always a tough day. Even on Easter Monday, you know, he arose yesterday and I'm dealing with mom's death the next day. And she believes in the same Jesus I do. So you know that we're going to make it. Or as Kendrick Lamar said, we're going to be all right. Indeed, indeed, indeed. But most importantly, I think that she provides a source for tremendous strength in my life because she's inseparable from the Jesus. She's inseparable from Shiloh. She's inseparable from the great tradition of great Black folk loving and being free and having a joy that the world can't take from them. And that is good news. That's very good news. So I end up with a smile on my face, even though the heartache is there forever. Forever. And I know your precious mother was dying at 42 years old. Is that right?
Yes, sir, Doc. Yeah.
Part of you is broken, but at the same time, a healing has been setting in. And as you heal, I heal. We try to heal others, empower others, enable and ennoble others in service to them. That's what I learned from Mom.
Yeah, that part, Doc. And while we're lifting up your great mother who paved the way for many, we got to lift up your wife because it is the great Anahita Mataville West who said, S&T, can you do this for me? So I would.
Oh, Anahita, my Darby West pointed this out. She the one who told you about. Well, of course, we're going to salute Anahita now. Or as you say, the West.
Mrs. Dr. West. But I gotta, it takes teamwork to make the dream work. So I was kind of saving that just to say, just to see you two in partnership in all things just gives me so much joy. And to have a helpmate, you guys are helpmates to one another. To have a wife as thoughtful as that, to say, he doesn't know this, but could you? And Doc, even like 3 minutes before we were supposed to go on, because I've been running all morning, she texted me again. Did you see my text?
Oh,
Like,
Lord.
I got you, Doc. I got you, Mrs. Dr. West. I got you. I got you. So I was saving that, but couldn't have known this. I mean, I knew that your mom passed away, and I know how much she means to you, and I had the pleasure to be at the house with you and Dr. Anahita, and to see your mom right there in your office. But it took her to tell me about this is the 4th year on this particular day. So I want to shout her out as we're lifting up your mom. She knows how much that relationship meant and means to you because your mom is on the ancestral plane, just like my mom.
No, both our mothers giants, and the kind of love you and Anahita have for each other is a beautiful thing to behold and witness.
We are sisters.
Sisters in deepest, deepest, deepest sense. Absolutely. But I'm blessed to have Anahita who loves me so. Ain't no doubt about that.
No doubt about it, Doc. Love lifted me when nothing else would help.
And I thank God that her blessed mother is still alive and strong as she can be. She's a
Yeah.
marvel. Yes, she is.
Yeah, she just went to visit her recently, her
Yes,
mom, right?
oh, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know, Doc, you're making me think, I'm sure there are a lot of people in our club, I call it the I Miss My Mama Club. And it
Ooh.
doesn't matter how old you are, how seasoned you are, if you had a true endearing relationship with your mom, and moms come in different forms. I'm not just talking about birth moms. I'm talking about the spirit of what it means to be a mother. And then especially if you're a birth mom, it's just something about it, Doc. It doesn't matter what stage we are in our lives. We always miss them and we always need them.
Always needed. And thinking about Ohio, I think of men at large. So alone. That deep song that brother wrote with the great genius Gerald Levert and the others when his mother died. So alone. That's a classic. Anybody who's missed their mother, you just go listen to some men at large. So alone out of Ohio.
Ohio, Ohio, or Doc, even LL Cool J's Dear Mama. I mean, he was talking about his grandmother, but it's the same spirit. But Dear Mama. That's Tupac, but LL has a song about his grandmother that reminds me very much of my grandmother and my mother. So we got Tupac with Dear Mama, but then LL has a hit as well, talking about the spirit and the essence of a grandmother, and I link it to being a mother as well.
Read about Tupac. He sang about a Finney. God bless a Finney. I loved intensely too. He and
Yeah,
Tupac used to church where I used to teach. And
yeah.
his Dear Mama, ooh, that's a classic.
Dear Mama by Tupac. I'm sorry, y'all. I was mixing up my mama songs. And then thank you, Miles. LL Cool J's Mama said, knock you out. Thank you, Miles.
No, kick it in. Miles, kick it in.
Miles kicking in to the conversation. Mama said, knock you out. Yeah, we had them kind of mamas too. It was all wrapped into one. That was that
Oh,
love talking.
good. About Harriet
Oh,
Tubman. Because Harriet Tubman said she had her gun in her Bible and she had to knock some Negroes out if they made too much noise, which meant that the slave catchers would catch all of them. You're going to have to straighten it out with some brothers and sisters. Mama going to knock
knock
you.
you. You're gonna meet your maker sooner than you thought if you don't shut up and keep on pushing on. Love it, love it, love it. when we come forward, Dr. West and I will continue this rich dialogue. We'll tell you about some of the things that are happening and what we are thinking about those things. You are listening to Truth Time.
Speaking truth to power and to the powerless. This is Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, and it's almost time to celebrate KBLA's 4th anniversary, coming up Juneteenth 2025. We'll be marking the achievement with 4 key community events, including a special symposium, luncheon, and brain trust hosted by me entitled The State of Black Women in Los Angeles. Keep it locked here for details on how to join us for this groundbreaking symposium examining the unique challenges, triumphs, and contributions of Black women in Los Angeles in the areas of education, healthcare, community leadership, cultural and political contributions. This public convocation will provide a critical forum to address the specific social, economic, and political realities facing Black women in LA today. We'll go live with a radio broadcast and YouTube live stream, a public discussion, and a private dialogue with some of LA's most impactful women. It's an affirmation of Black women standing at the intersection of race and gender in times of adversity while demonstrating remarkable resilience and leadership. We will listen and we will speak out and be heard, all in service of finding opportunities and solutions. Please plan to join us in celebrating our 4th anniversary by amplifying the voices of Black women. For more on our symposium and 4 events celebrating 4 years on the air, simply stay tuned or keep an eye on KBLA1580.com and help make this Juneteenth more jubilant with all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent. And the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
No warrant, no key. My privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights.
To thine own self be true. More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner coming your way right now on KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, yeah. So, Doctor, tell us a little bit more about your mom in detail. She's an educator. The school is now named after her. She was a trailblazer as a Black woman of a certain generation, like many Black women, even names we know and names we do not know. But she comes from that bold generation that created many pathways that, many of us don't quite understand because we don't internalize it on a regular basis. But can you share just a little bit more about Mama West's journey? What made her, besides her spirituality and her belief in God, a higher power, what motivated and drove her and really partly made you who you are today?
Well, I appreciate that. Well, she was born in Crawley, Louisiana, in Jim Crow, Louisiana, in 1932. And of my big daddy, granddad, Nick Bias, he had a challenge because mom's mother, when mom was 3 years old, she had a tooth pulled and started bleeding, and it wouldn't stop. They only had one black doctor in the town, and so they took her to the White Hospital, and they wouldn't take her in. So mom's mom died right there on the feet of the hospital on the steps, with Black folk calling for the white doctors to come in, do something, to come to terms with tooth bleed. And she was in her early 30s, so mom never really knew her biological mother. Granddad was deacon, but he was a deacon with Bible and gun, so he came with a shotgun looking for folk, and they ran him out of town. He had to go from Crawley to Orange, Texas. So my mother actually grew up in Orange, Texas, and T. Rose then came in, who he married, and that's the mother that mom knew, and that's the grandmother I knew, even though T. Rose had no kids, but she raised many, many, many kids of granddad, Aunt Pang, and others, Aunt Lily and Uncle Nick and so forth. So that mom, from the very beginning, her first memories in some sense was what happened to her mother. And this is just, common reality Black folk got to deal with every day. It's like Benjamin Mays starts off his autobiography, Born to Rebel. First thing I remember is the mob trying to kill Black folk and forcing my father to take off his hat and bow down and pay homage to this white man who was on a horse. This is in 96, South Carolina. So there's so many memories of these kinds of acts of terror and trauma. But Mom.
Doc, I want to back you up. I hate to mess up your stream of consciousness, but this point I believe is so important for our audience to understand, even as I listen to what you were saying happened to your mom and her entire family, and what is happening to moms and dads and entire families now at the hand of a system that is cruel, both racially cruel, class cruel, and it's reverberating right now in the fact that we do not have universal health care in the United States of America. And the number one reason why people file bankruptcy in this country is due to medical debt. And in no other industrialized nation is that the case. But I want to back up that because I need to make sure I understand this. Your mother's mother had a tooth bleed. Mm-hmm. One Black doctor in the segregated South. They took her to a white hospital, which should have never been the case, but I'm put that in the parking lot. They were because Black doctor was booked.
No, because he was out of town.
He was out of town, and the white hospital refused to see your grandmother, your biological grandmother.
That's right.
And Mom, she died.
Died on the. Mm-hmm. 33 years old.
I mean, to me, that got to marinate a little bit. I almost feel like pausing for a moment of silence.
Sick white supremacy is. That's how sick it is. That's how pathological it is. And that ain't new for, that's so common for Black people.
And where was this? This was in Louisiana?
In Crawley, Louisiana.
Crawley, Louisiana. My.
Small town. I was just in Shreveport last week, and I was talking to the folk about Crawley. They said, "Oh yeah, we know Crawley." I said, "Oh, my mother was born there." What? You gotta be kidding! Oh yeah. But the thing is, Mom, she was a woman of great grace and dignity, a woman of spiritual royalty and a moral nobility, so that she didn't hate anybody. She was a Christian woman of the highest sort. That been shaped by Mount Zion Baptist Church in Orange, where she was baptized, and then Shiloh in Sacramento, and was announcer in the church, and raised us to be decent human beings, but also raised us to be cognizant of the sickness and the pathology of the country in terms of how it degrades and demeans people, not just Black people, but people across, indigenous peoples and poor peoples and working peoples. But for her and her experience, of course, here she then meets Dad at Fisk University. They meet right in front of Jubilee Hall. I wouldn't be without Jubilee. And that hall, which is the historic hall, inaugurates, one of the great love relations of 20th century for me. That's Mom and Dad. That's Clifton West and Irene Bias West. And Dad, straight out of Oklahoma. He was born in Alexandria, but he out of Oklahoma. And they end up in Kansas, and then Tulsa, Kansas, and then Sacramento. My brother was born in Port Arthur, Texas, right near Orange. And then I was born in Tulsa. And then my sister was born in Topeka. And then my baby sister was born in Sacramento. But all of us are in Sacramento by the time I'm 5 years old. And see, Mom got 4 kids before she graduated from college.
My.
Mm-hmm.
And graduated though.
Gets her MA, and then on becomes principal and has a school named after her, and working in the church, Vacation Bible School teacher, announcer, major force for good there at Shiloh Baptist under the great Willie P. Cook, that she set such a high standard that me and Cliff and Cynthia and Cheryl could never reach, but we carry it with us. We carry it with us. It's like your beloved mother. She's all in you, inside of you, shot through you, soaked in your heart and your mind and your soul.
This is true. Like, this is true. I often wonder how she would feel about the things that are going on right now. How would your mother feel about some of the things? I mean, obviously, living to the age of 88, she has seen things across decades that my mother didn't get an opportunity to see because she died so young. So your mother has many frames of references, and only been 4 years. That's a very short amount of time, but heavy. It's long, like serving long time. Um, what would she think about some of the things, even though she lived to see many of these things? What would she think about what's happening right now?
Well, on the one hand, given her strong reaction against the Reagan administration and its declaration of contempt, if not war, on poor people. With Trump, of course, is just that kind of declaration on steroids, so that she would be deeply upset, intensely upset, but she wouldn't be surprised. She would just say, "Oh, the worst of America has emerged once again. It reminds me of what it was like when I was young. The hatred, the greed, the indifference have surfaced now in a highly crystallized way. I've seen it before. Now I see it again." And she would always say, "We just got to re-equip ourselves to fight it," because she was a fighter. Now I'm telling. Oh, she took us to hear Martin King, the whole family, when I was 10
Yeah,
years old.
yeah.
Got
Yeah,
to
what
hear
was
this
that? What was that like? Recount that for us, Doc.
magnificent moment. Memorial Auditorium. Brother Martin came in with his folk and gave one of the most powerful speeches. I was 10, so I didn't really grasp all of the subtleties and sophisticated formulations he had, but I knew one thing when I left Memorial Auditorium, and that was, this brother is for real and he loves Black people. He's willing to die for Black people. It
For
reminded
real, and loves Black people. Wow.
me reminded me of the Black Panther Party in Sacramento. There's a slice of Black folk who are willing to tell the truth and live and die for Black folk because they believe in something even bigger than Black folk, which is the truth, which is justice, which is love.
Yeah, yeah. One of my colleagues, and I mean, I hate to put this out here in this way because it pained me when my colleague said it, but I was on a call where there was an elder that was linking the Montgomery bus boycott to the boycott that some of us are engaged in. Many of us, thousands of us across the country, are engaged in to let Target know that you're wrong, to bend to bigotry, just like the other companies. Certainly, Target is not the only one. And my colleague sent a text and said, "But younger people, that history is important, but they don't get it. I'm not so sure we should connect it." And although he's telling the truth, that pained me because they ought to know and they ought to get it.
Absolutely. Well, they ought to know that when you target, when you target, when you boycott Target, you're on a long continuum of a rich tradition of Black folk been boycotting for decades after decades after decades, centuries after centuries. And Black folk been going on strike. When the 200,000 Black left the plantation to join the Union Army to break the back of the Confederacy Army to win the Civil War, that was a boycott. It was a strike of workers. They boycotted the plantation. Well, boycotting is a fundamental weapon of oppressed people. And so um, you hope that they don't forget about Rosa Parks and A.D. Dixon and Martin King and the others in the boycott in Montgomery. But the crucial thing is to know they're not the first ones to boycott. You got a long, rich, deep history, and we have to have a long, rich, and deep memory of that history in order to continue that tradition.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're the only group of people that are asked and so cavalierly will commit to forgetting our past?
Well, we got people in America do tend to forget their past, though, because America's obsessed with the future. You know what I mean? John Dewey said that America is the only country that gives metaphysical status to futurity, metaphysical status to the future, which means it turn you back to the past so quickly. That's why people could come to America and change their names. They got a certain name from Sicily, new name in America, certain name in Eastern European. Look at our Jewish brothers and sisters. Come in, change their names. How come? I ain't got nothing to do with that. No, I ain't got to do with it. All about the future, making what? Money, money, money. Status, status, status. Yeah, oh, I see. So black folk in that sense, just Americanized.
That's true, Doctor. Thank you for reminding me of that. Nikki Haley, same thing. You know, she changed her name by way of example to fit in. You know, walking away from her Indian tradition and heritage. You know what, you guys? When we come forward, we will continue this conversation. We are lifting up the life and the legacy, the 4-year anniversary of the passing of the great Irene. Is it B. West?
It's West, Irene B. West. That's it.
Irene B. West. When we come forward, you're listening to Truth Time.
The truth will set you free, but first it might raise your blood pressure.
I'm not driving you, baby.
More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Pope Francis has died at 88 from a stroke and heart failure, according to the Vatican. Born in Argentina, he was the first pope from the Americas and pushed for church transparency, leaving a lasting impact on Black Catholics and others worldwide. Reverend Al Sharpton says his meeting with Target CEO was productive following the retailer's pullback on diversity efforts. Activists have called for a boycott, linking the move to pressure after Trump ended federal DEI programs. Blacks in New York City are at half-staff to honor Pope Francis, who died this morning. Black Mayor Eric Adams called him a leader of kindness and faith, reflecting on their Vatican visit as one of his most sacred moments. And the University of Kentucky is canceling DEI graduation ceremonies, including those for Black, LGBTQ+, and first-gen students. Officials say the move aligns with a new state law banning DEI programs at public colleges. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers are back in action tonight in Denver in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The number one item for the Clippers in Game 2 has to be ball handling. The Clippers had 20 turnovers Saturday in their 2-point loss to Denver in Game 1. That was the Clippers' first loss since March 30th at Cleveland. 7 p.m. tip-off tonight on TNT. The Lakers and Houston Rockets, the number 3 and number 2 seed in the Western Conference playoffs, are the only playoff teams to lose Game 1 at home. All 4 home teams in the Eastern Conference were winners in Game 1. The Lakers have some extra time to make improvements after their Game 1 loss to Minnesota Saturday night. Game 2 is Tuesday night at Crypto.com. Former Tennessee quarterback Nico Imaliva made it official. The Long Beach native is transferring to UCLA. Imaliva confirmed his decision on Instagram. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Whoa, whoa.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number and put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
After producing an award-winning climate justice campaign in 2024, KBLA Talk 1580 has gone all in on its 2025 Climate Justice plus Black Health Initiative. April is Minority Health Month, and Urban Family Focus, in partnership with Providence Health Systems, presents The Heart of the Matter. Providence doctors and health equity officers will participate in informative and life-changing conversations on hypertension, health equity, behavioral health, and community engagement. Don't miss these empowering conversations on Urban Family Focus every Saturday in April at 7 and Sunday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sponsored by Providence, Southern California's largest and most comprehensive healthcare network. We've got a lot to talk about on KBLA Talk 1580. Download the KBLA 1580 app or log in to KBLA1580.com. I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. On KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
I'm back.
Yes, we are. Just organically. I think this was meant to be, Doc. Did not plan this, but to be talking about your dear mother and the trails that she has blazed. I want you to know that the comments are jumping in here because of this. And I want to say to our listeners and viewers, especially those who are in community, because this has turned into a real community on our YouTube channel, might not be able to get to all of the wonderful comments. I'm going to summarize as many as I can, read as many as I can, and summarize others, Doc. But I just want you to know this community is hot for you today, including Dr. Anahita West, what goes without saying. But we got Brother Morris Phillips, where my people at, and then his traditional good afternoon, Senator Turner and Dr. West. Happy Monday. We got Sister Selena Ricks. Happy Easter Monday, everyone. Condolences to you, Dr. West, and your family. Blessed Peacemaker sharing what he was just listening to, Lucky Doobie. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. God bless the women's rights before tuning in. So glad that you both have good memories and feelings toward your mamas. Prayers and comfort to you both. Dr. Anahita West, thank you, S&T with a heart. And then people are engaging with Dr. Anahita West, saying what a blessing it is to have her in community. We have Miles Langston's blessings and condolences, Dr. West. And Morris Phillips jumping in again. My mama said I was hard-headed and I miss her very much. Don't we miss it? Even those moments when our moms are leaning on us to be better, we still miss them.
Exactly right, because love requires that protection, the respect, and the correction.
Amen to that, Doc. I wish my mom was here to yell at me or correct me or pinch me or something. I just wish she was here. Um, so yeah, in community with Dr. Anahita West, and then Blessed Peacemaker shared, my 13-year-old daughter asked Dr. West, what was the best thing about being Black? He replied, being the child of his parents. It was really a beautiful moment we haven't forgotten as a family. Doc, your thoughts?
Wow, Lord, that's fascinating that little precious girl would remember that moment, though. I think in Los Angeles during the camp. My God, my God, my God. I do want to say this, though, that, Brother Tavis was Mom's third son, that she him spiritually, existentially, culturally, and he's got a magnificent mom. I mean, Miss Joyce Smiley is just as beautiful inside and out. But Mom really adopted Tavis, and Tavis adopted her as really very much a kind of what would be the right word, though? Because Joyce Smiley is his mama. It would be a kind of mom. Let me put it that way, because they were so close. They traveled the country all together. Sometimes just the two of them. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Oh, and so there with Brother travel with our mom was always treated like a queen. Brother Rentroy Brown and Mark Ridley Thomas and others would testify to that. And it reminds me of what Duke Ellington said about Ella Fitzgerald after working with her. He said, she's beyond category.
Hello.
Beyond category.
I want to be in that category of people who are beyond category. I love that. You know, what you're describing between Brother Tavis and your mom and his mom reminds me of how Black people historically have had to survive. We call it, historians call it fictive kin, but that creation of other relationships that might not be blood related, but they're emotional attachments. They're both action attachments. And for some Black people, especially from chattel slavery, not knowing when you would be upended, separated from, sold off from, let me just go on and make it plain, or one of your loved ones killed, you just never knew when your blood relatives would be snatched from you, either by way of sale or by way of death. And so to be able to survive the notion of fictive kin, that people who are not blood related to you then become your relative, your other big mama, your other auntie, your other cousin, uncle, father, grandfather, so on. They had to do that to survive. And we in modern times, being the 20th, 21st century, we've carried on that tradition.
That's exactly right. Because in times like these, you got to have an anchor and a root. You have to have something you can fall back on. And one of the most fundamental things you can ever fall back on is the deep, rich love of family and relatives and very, very close friends who are family-like. Folk you can trustworthy, reliable, provide tremendous source of strength for you, make you laugh, make you cry, keep you accountable, keep you responsible. Those are the things that really, really matter at the deepest level.
They do, Doc, and relationship is both blood, but and relationship. They go together. And sometimes you can have a relationship without the blood tie, and then have relationship and blood tie, which is that's extra special, right there. Yeah, Doc. I'm gonna go on. EC Courtney, peace and power with all the blessings of the ancestors for a king and a queen with all the truth. I think EC Courtney is referring to us, Dr. West. And Blessed Peacemaker asked one of people in community, Morris Phillips, brother, did you catch Pope Francis, or Papa Francis, he called him, final sermon, was asking for peace for the Congo. Wow. Yeah. We need that. And I guess we'll talk about the Pope in a little bit. We lifting up Mother Irene B. West at this moment. And Morris Phillips, again, the American legacy is the American legacy. We can't rewrite a past experience, can we? And no, we can't rewrite a past experience. We can use it to learn and create a new experience moving forward. And that is so important. We got Dale D. Hi, Dr. West. And just going on and on and on, Doc. I'm trying to capture some other questions that people may have. May the Black Madonna, this is Blessed Peacemaker jumping in again, help guide the destiny of Europe and the world. That is a quote from Pope Francis. So Blessed Peacemaker is bringing some history into this. People might not understand the Black Madonna and all of the history behind the Black Madonna.
Oh, that's so true. Well, we got just love overflowing from our listeners to each and every one.
Yeah, we do. And we appreciate them so very much. So that's just only a sample. And Doc, I can't keep up. They still going in there. But as we always traditionally do, we lift up those in our YouTube community who can be in community in real time. And Dr. West and I want you to know how much we appreciate you. We know you could be doing anything with your time. Time is a precious commodity that we cannot get back. But on a regular basis, Doc, since we started this show, they have been faithful with some new folks too coming through. But they have been so faithful to engage in dialogue with us. And that is a beautiful thing.
That is a marvelous thing.
Yeah.
And my always says, Cliff, will I never be happy human being. He said, Corn, the dictionary one day is going to have a special place that talks about Westian love with Irene B. West and Clifton B. West and all of us who came thereafter. I said, Cliff, I understand what you're saying. You got a strong point. If they knew the life lived, the deeds done, the acts enacted of Irene B. West and Clifton West, ooh, they better make a place in that dictionary for some Westian love. But that's true for some.
Yeah, that Westian love. I absolutely love that, man. I wish that I had gotten an opportunity to meet your mom, but I know she lives through you and your siblings. You guys are the personification of her and your father walking on earth in real time. When we come forward, Dr. West and I will continue this, and then we'll add some thoughts about Pope Francis. He passed away today, and you are listening to Truth Time.
It's Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent. And the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
no warrant, no key, my privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights.
Imagine serving our country to protect our rights and freedoms, then coming home without a place to call your own. LA property owners, we need you. You can help get veterans off the street and into safe, stable housing, because this is not just a housing issue, it is a human issue. This is Joe Mantegna. Learn more about how you can help end veteran homelessness. Email houseuravets@lacity.org.
Hey, this is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and for over 20 years, Parkside Economic Development Corporation has served Leimert Park and surrounding communities, empowering tomorrow's leaders and changing lives. Parkside EDC has awarded over $400,000 in college scholarships while sharing economic principles of the Big Five of money with students and their families. Parkside EDC partners with organizations like the Brotherhood Crusade to assure our youth have the financial acumen to succeed. Parkside EDC provides families and businesses with financial insights, offering free online, on-site, and on-air B-Warp presentations. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Programs helps our community acquire, sustain, and pass down legacy wealth. High school seniors can apply for this year's scholarship awards at parksideedc.org. Scholarships will be awarded at Parkside EDC's Gospel/Jazz Brunch on Sunday, April the 27th. For details, tickets, or donations, please visit parksideedc.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Truth crushed to earth shall rise again. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, you are, Doc. I might be a little biased, but I gotta tell you, even in between commercials, we so sharp and hip here and rhythmic. I'm sitting up here jamming to the music of the commercials. I'm telling you, I just got.
I know Tavis got some of the deepest commercials in the history of radio.
Yes, he does. Him and the team, they doing that thing. Doc, just 3 quick things coming from our audience that are commenting on YouTube. We have Terrence Allen Duncan, ADOS Advocacy Foundation. Thank you both for supporting the ADOS Foundation. We got Lift Up Sister Yvette and the team over there at the foundation, laying the foundation for reparations for descendants of enslaved people. Want to shout them out. We got Dale D saying, I love my mom. We right with you, Dale D. We love our moms too, even though they are in the ancestral plane. And then Morris Phillips asks, Dr. West, have you ever seen the original Statue of Liberty? Beautiful.
No, you mean the original Statue of Liberty right here in New York, or the original one in France?
I think he's referring, he hasn't clarified. I think he's talking about the original one in France. You know, there's a story that never gets told about why France gave that Statue of Liberty to America. People don't talk about that story, about it being linked to the end of the enslavement of Black people.
Right.
Yeah. So, Brother Morris, if you get a chance, give us some clarification either today or tomorrow, and we will definitely lift that up. So, Doc, we know that Pope Francis passed on today. Ironically, he at the age of 88, 88 years old on today, Easter Monday. And, you know, a lot is being said. We know that there are a lot of practicing Catholics in the world as the world mourns his death. He hadn't been seen in public for quite some time. They had put out that he was sick, you know, over the last few weeks. But according to the Vatican, the Pope died today. And they wrote, Dearest brothers and sisters, with deep sorrow, I must announce the death of our Holy Father Francis. At 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the house of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and of his church. He taught us to live the values of the gospel with fidelity, courage, and universal love, especially in favor of the poorest and the most marginalized. With immense gratitude for his example as a true disciple of the Lord Jesus, we commend the soul of Pope Francis to the infinite, merciful love of the one and triune God. So that's coming from the Vatican itself, Doc. And I know that this Pope really did talk about the war. He talked about Gaza in ways. People in leadership with power, with kind of more global power, didn't necessarily listen to what the Pope had to say on this. Certainly the Pope is not perfect. Catholicism itself, no religion is perfect because human beings navigate it. But I thought it was the right thing to do for the Pope to come out and say something about what was happening in Gaza. And as we know, he has commented on wars all over the world, including the Congo and other places. Centering poor people is the thing that we all ought to do.
No, I mean, there's just no doubt that when it comes to religious leaders, that in a variety of ways, he was a force for good, that he was influenced by liberation theology. He wasn't a liberation theologian himself, but he was influenced by it. So he would always talk about the poor and the marginalized. He would publicly not just wash the feet of people, but wash the feet of Muslims and Christians, of women.
Right.
He recognized the humanity even of precious gays and lesbian sisters in a way that got him in a whole lot of trouble. I did a tour of Latin America about 40 years ago, and he was from Argentina. And we were part of a basic Christian community movement. And was very much connected, but was never a part of it. He was someone who fellow traveler, as it were. And he had a very, very lovely spirit.
Doc, hold that thought about his lovely spirit. When we come forward, we're going to talk about the lovely spirit of Pope Francis, who passed away today. You're listening to Truth Time.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen. And this is Sarah Beth. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese. I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But this one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. Oh, one last number. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-335-2299. That's 800-335-2299.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
Oh, yes, we are. Doc, you were talking about the lovely spirit of the Pope. Before you go into that, I just want to highlight some of the things that the media is saying. The AP headline about the Pope says Pope Francis, first Latin American pontiff who ministered with a charming, humble style, dies at the age of 88. As we were laying out, this Pope really did focus on the needs of the poor. Doc, you mentioned how he ran afoul in a righteous way of some conservatives as he was embracing our LGBTQ plus community in a way that should be done. And he said these words: we have realized that we are on the same boat, all of us fragile and disoriented. Pope Francis told an empty St. Peter Square in March of 2020, calling for a rethink of the global economic framework. He said the pandemic showed the need for, quote, all of us to row together, each of us need comforting the other. That pandemic, when he spoke out, and really that got him to speak out more broadly about the economic fistures in this system that punishes the poor and rewards very few. So he went out real progressive like on so many issues that people like you and me and others talk about on a regular basis. Doc, in our last 3 minutes, it's all yours.
Well, to think, though, that very much like Mom, he had decided to make Jesus his choice, which means that he would accent the least of these. So he's one who decided to put a premium on people who had been rendered invisible. Now, keep in mind, he's the first non-European Pope in 1,300 years. He's the first Jesuit, and as you mentioned, the first from Latin America. But he could have been conservative. He could have been centrist. He could have been whatever. It's a human choice in the end. And I could feel the impact. Anahita and I were there at the Vatican just a couple of years ago with Brother Robbie and Brother Eugene Rivers and Jackie Rivers and others, who were giving a series of lectures. And a number of the cardinals were there, as well as other scholars. And you could feel the whole atmosphere was one in which you must talk about poor and working people because they count like anybody else. Well, see, that's just following Jesus.
Yeah.
Just following Jesus. Jesus believed that the least of these was the fundamental criteria of those that he would view as his followers. You shall know them by their love, by their joy, by their service to the least of these. So when he renames himself Francis of Assisi, who's my favorite saint in the history of Catholicism, I say that as a Black Baptist. But St. Francis, same thing. St. Francis of Assisi gives everything he has to the poor, gives himself to the poor, and embraces nature as well as human creatures.
There it is. The meek shall inherit the earth. Well, God rest the soul of Pope Francis, to all of his family, his friends, and people who are practicing Catholics. Our hearts go out to you. Well, this is, we want you to live on purpose, Dr. West and I. We want you to understand your purpose and understand this. More importantly, titles are good, but purpose is better. Until next time.
KBLA 1580
Leaders and changing lives. Parkside EDC has awarded over $400,000 in college scholarships while sharing economic principles of the Big Five of money with students and their families. Parkside EDC partners with organizations like the Brotherhood Crusade to assure our youth have the financial acumen to succeed. Parkside EDC provides families and businesses with financial insights, offering free online, on-site, and on-air B-Warp presentations. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Programs helps our community acquire, sustain, and pass down legacy wealth. High school seniors can apply for this year's scholarship awards at parksideedc.org. Scholarships will be awarded at Parkside EDC's Gospel/Jazz Brunch on Sunday, April the 27th. For details, tickets, or donations, please visit parksideedc.org. This is a community call to action